It is Canada Conversations here in the hotspot, and it is showtime for three more of your Guamanians who have made the conscious decision and the commitment to want to spend the next few months to earn, and I think that is the operative word, to earn your vote, because they want to be members of the 37th Guam Legislature when they are in fact inaugurated next January. But first, we got a primary to get through, we got a general to get through. So we are introducing all of them to you so that you can get to know them better and make an informed decision when you head to the polls in just a few weeks. First off on the KUM couch, we have John Ananich, who is running for the second time a Democrat. Hafa John.
Hafa Jason. Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for bringing me in.
Yeah, very good to see you.
Yeah, second time. This is, 2 times a charm. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Positive mental attitude, too.
Yeah, the first time we were kind of restricted, so hopefully this time the platform's a little bit different. So hopefully this time the community can actually hear my platform and hear what I want to do.
Right on.
Yeah, because last time, we were kind of restricted. So
okay, so maybe
this
we'll
is great.
We'll talk about some of your campaign strategies as we go on. So, in the middle, so apparently we got the two Democrats bookending the Republican, but representing the GOP is candidate Ian Catling. Ian, Hafa day.
Hafa day.
How are you doing, my friend?
Doing well, doing very well. Thank you for having me.
How's the campaign trail experience been for you so far?
It's very revealing. I liken it to watches. We all grow up with watches. We're all familiar with watches. But since I threw my name in the hat, now it's like somebody exposed the face of the watch, and now I see all the intricate moving parts that I wasn't aware of beforehand.
I want to say in 22 years of doing this, that may be the most accurate and probably most elaborate analogy of what it takes to run. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, and I'm sure all of the watchmakers in Switzerland also really appreciate you right now, because everybody's using Apple Watches these days. But go get an analog watch, everybody. They're cool.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Too bad Amazon Prime Day is already over. We could have scored a good deal, but we'll talk about retailing later. And all the way over there, and I must say, Roy Quinata, congratulations to you. The early bird gets the worm, as they say, and I know you were the very first candidate to get your signs up, get out, start waving and everything like that. So it's good to see you. And Sanahi game, really, really strong. That is a beautiful piece of Chamorro jewelry.
Okay, thank you, Jace. Thank you, KUM. Thank you, Guam, for having us this evening. We're live right now, so I just wanted to, give it my best shot. I'm the youngest candidate running for office because, if you want to make change, you got to be a part of the change, and that's why my slogan is "Making a difference begins with you." Because if you yourself are not willing to step up and take the challenge, what better are we going to be today or tomorrow?
Absolutely.
And I think Angel Santos gave us a great quote, and we all live a lot right by that guy. That generations will come, generations will go, but if the generation today is not willing to make changes for tomorrow, there will be no tomorrow.
That's very, very true. Okay, now I don't know if all four of us, or certainly the three of you, I don't know if all of you realize this, and probably all of you watching right there on the bandwidth land don't realize, all four of us all went to Simon Sanchez High School. So silver and black all the way, baby. We got
go
four sharp pride right here. So I'm class of 92. John, we're the same age, but you actually finished high school in the States.
93.
93.
Yeah, 93. Actually, no, I didn't. I ended up at GCC. But that's because November, though. I'm a November baby, so a little bit later. Yeah, the good thing, though, is when I went to school, though, I was a little bit older than everybody, a little bit bigger, a little more mature, right?
There you go.
Yeah, but
we could have used you on the football team, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I did. I came back and I actually played. I played for the MFL,
of course,
the varsity team. Yeah,
I remember
it was a lot of
covering
fun. Yes, definitely.
Okay, Ian, yourself, when did you go to Sanchez?
I was a 96 graduate, but I didn't.
You were in the same class as my sister Stacy.
Right on.
Okay.
Right on. Yes. But I didn't get a chance to finish there. Second semester of my senior year, my parents got stationed in Misawa, Japan. So I finished off my senior year in Japan.
Okay, and then Roy, I know you were born in Barragata.
Oh no, I grew up in Barragata and Chigo, but I'm the class of 2014, where the year that definitely shook some government agencies and the legislative and gubernatorial seat. So
I remember that. And
we definitely put a lot of heat.
Yeah,
put a lot of heat on them.
The Sanchez class, right around 2014, 2015, they ruffled a lot of feathers and tried to get a new school. All right.
I did.
Yeah, 14. I think your son. I graduated with your son. Did you have a son that graduated class 14?
No, a nephew.
A nephew, okay, yeah.
We should have bought food. We're just having a Sanchez party right here.
Go Sharks.
It's a reunion of different years.
This is my 30th reunion. I know everybody that didn't go to Sanchez. I can talk about Sanchez, Jason. All right, so let's get to the Q&A now, gentlemen. I'd like to give you each 60 seconds to talk about various island issues, and we'll start with John Ananich. As a Democrat, John, but more importantly, given your history and background in law enforcement, obviously you've got very, very strong and well-founded opinions about keeping Guam safe. But tell me what issues, in your view, does GPD, GFD, the court marshals, port police, what do they face right now, and what are you going to do to solve those problems?
You know, well, the issue definitely is funding, right? The issue is funding, but we have a big problem with GPD. You know, they're undermanned. The retention program is not there. You know, the recruitment program's not there. They're just not. They're not being paid the same as their counterparts are in the mainland, right? So with GPD in itself, we are lacking a lot of uniformed officers. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you want to run an organization like a paramilitary organization, then you need to do that. You know, in my cycle, we were there for 12 years before we got promoted, right? So time in grade, time in service, keep it attractive, and have a retention, program going on, because what's happening is they're getting through the cycle, and then they're finding jobs in the mainland, because they're not being treated the same as their counterparts. So we need to
even worse. Some of them just get out, and police work is a vocation that it's a lifelong job.
But a simple fix for public safety, Jason, honestly, it's just fund it. They've been underfunded for too long. Just give them the funds they need to make it happen. You know, because without the funds, there's nothing they can do.
So if elected, when the budget cycle comes around and everything, you are saying you're going to fight for the budget to make sure to go towards public safety agencies?
Oh, definitely, most definitely, yes,
Gotcha.
yes. Especially Department of Corrections. You know, they need some sort of sustainability there.
Gotcha.
I think they've gone through so many different directors, so they need help. So I think in general, public safety in general, it needs to be funded.
Very well. Okay,
Yeah.
Ian Catling, over to you.
Yes.
You recently told a colleague of mine in broadcasting, Tony Lamarena, to shout out to Uncle Tony. Good to see you. You said that since returning to Guam, you've been doing more listening than talking right now. But now as a senator, your voice is being heard, especially on programs like this.
That's correct.
So what do you want to say, and what issues do you want to address?
Well, this one is, our campaign is education forward. So what we're addressing is educational integrity, making sure that all students are at the grade level, performance-wise, capacity-wise, that their grade dictates. So if you're in the 11th grade, you should be performing at the 10th grade level. If you're in the 12th grade, you should be performing at the 11th grade level. But there seems to be a bit of a disconnect, because as a high school teacher, what we are finding is that our high school students are still, a majority of them are still performing below the level that they should be. And so this is not an attack on the system. What I am saying is that I'm there to support our education, support our students, providing resources, providing understanding of, in this day and age, how we can educate our students so they can arrive at a high level in life.
And we keep pushing out this concept of STEM and science, technology, engineering, and math.
That is correct.
We have to aspire for that next level, but it also helps if we're really, really solid in the fundamentals as well.
We just need to put the tools in the hands of our students.
There you go. All right, very well done. All right, Roy, I'd like to go to you for this question. Your campaign website, royforguam.com, really well designed, by the way. That's a great picture.
Thank you.
You list housing and environment as two key issues that you are very, very passionate about, and areas in which you would like to do work as a senator. Please explain.
So I think my generation is facing a lot more challenges than any other generation. I think housing is at the top priority for me, because my generation is virtually homeless. We all are unable to attain a home, more or less a studio apartment that is no less than $1,000. And then with the power and water increases at this rate, we're all gonna have to go back to our parents' house. I mean, again, people who are working three jobs that are my age are not able to even retain their own current studio rental. It's very hard. I mean, it's not just in Tamuning or the central area. It's even in down south in Agate and Jigo. I think it's usually where there's more traffic. The location triggers the what do you call it, price bracket.
Right.
But I think housing is its own situation, its own pandemic, and definitely a crisis we need to address, especially the environment. I think we need to preserve our environment for the next generation and the generations to come.
Now, on that note, have you had an audience with anybody from GURA, like about affordable housing, and maybe even talked from the private sector to the realtor communities?
I haven't spoken to the realtor. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a couple realtor forums, and we will have more discussions with them. But I have worked for the famous, infamous Carlos Camacho. I used to work for him for 2 years, and I was here when your studio was over there on that side.
Yep.
So, you know, there's a lot of renovations, and we're going to have to keep renovating, right? I think as time changes. So when I was working for Carlos, a lot of the affordable housing units were very, you know, important to me, because a lot of our island's people are hurting, and it's not just because of the pandemic. It's just housing is unaffordable. The market is crazy.
All right, very, very good thoughts. All right, let's go back to John for question number 2. John, I was on your Facebook timeline recently, and something really impressed upon me. You made this interesting correlation between stimulating the economy and preventing crime. All right, can you kind of break down how you see, you know, increased opportunity, the ability to generate revenue, and, you know, take care of your family and everything like that, and how that will play to us being safer in our neighborhoods?
Well, you know, I'm not too sure where in Facebook that was or what the conversation was.
It was on a really nice
about.
design poster. Huh?
Yeah, but you know, stimulating the economy. Well, you know, by preventing crime in itself, by reducing crime in itself, it automatically stimulates the economy. You know, people can do a lot more productive things if there's less crime, right? So that's why I think that that crime prevention in a whole, you know, it's all related. You know, with the economy, with healthcare. The less crime, you know, the happier people are, the healthier people are. And then, you know, a place that's rampant with crime, people don't want to visit, Jason, right? So when you have a high crime rate, the tourism industry is also affected, right? Because nobody wants to go to a place where they feel that, you know, their lives, you know, could be in danger, right? So I think by deterring the crime and pretty much getting a handle on the crime, because crime's always going to be there. But we need to take back our streets and neighborhoods from the criminal-minded.
Very true.
And we definitely need to reduce it to a level that is not seen by, you know, our tourism industry or the people that want to visit Guam.
All right, good thoughts. Thank you, John. All right, Ian, you've been one of the most vocal proponents and advocates for education, and you just had very elaborate thoughts right there. You've taught in the private and public school systems locally,
Yes.
so you've got a very well-founded scope of what goes on here. What are some ideas about improving public education in addition to the ones that you were sharing earlier?
Oh, thank you for asking. That's a great question.
Here we go.
First off,
Hit the turbo.
that's it. First off, we're gonna look into year-round schooling. The problem that educators have in the school environment is that we don't have enough time to get all the information, all the knowledge into our students with what is given. We're always competing with whatever's going on from the classroom. So what you need to do as an educator, what we strive to do as educators, is to streamline the process so that everybody gets into a flow, right? Once you get into the rhythm, now you can get maximum output with minimal effort. And so that needs to be honored in the classroom, in the school. How do we maximize our effort with minimal effort? And how you get there is by having flow. So it's about creating enough time and space for this to happen, which is not happening right now.
I got you. So basically taking, like, if you can use, you know, a highway analogy, right now maybe we've got a 2-way street. You're talking about opening up a 5-lane highway for education.
That is correct.
Okay, very, very well. All right, and Roy, I'd like to go to you. I like how you mentioned, you know, your age, and you are the youngest candidate. And by the way, Roy did actually celebrate his 26th birthday a week before Liberation Day. So happy belated birthday, Roy.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Now, if in fact elected, this would make you the second youngest ever Guamanian to be elected, because the late Sonny Lorhan Orsini was 24 when he got elected. What do you think your youth and your perspective and your generational scope, what does that bring to the legislature?
I think, you know, statistically wise, the younger generation doesn't show up to the polls. And I think it's because the generation is there's a huge gap between the generational knowledge, right? I think people want someone younger that has a younger caliber and a younger aspect on things to be approachable to them. I think my boss, Senator Amanda Shelton, has been very much approachable. The youth vote is very important to her. And I think we just need younger people to step up and serve the island and the community as a whole. Because again, we cannot continue to sit on the sidelines, and we cannot wait for a torch to be passed to us. If we want to seek change and we want to be the change, we have to be the change ourselves.
How did you celebrate your birthday? Waving at the side of the road, I'm assuming.
In the morning, of course, I was at Derrida intersection, and then in the evening, I went down to ITC intersection. And then in the evening, I also had my own birthday fundraiser.
Very, very nice. All right, everybody, we are going to take a quick break. Maybe we'll make some belated birthday cupcakes for Roy, but we will be right back. More Hotspot and more candidate conversations when Hotspot continues. Continues right here on Hotspot. We've still got John Ananich, Ian Catling, and Roy Quinata, who want to serve you as senators in the 37th Guam legislature. Gentlemen, doing fantastic so far. We'd like to cover more island issues with you, and we'll start again with John Ananich, of course, a Democrat. We were talking about youth a few moments ago, John, before we went to commercial break, and you've taken great strides to reach out on social media and everything, and really interface with island youth, even the little ones in our community who can't vote yet. I'd like you to address directly to the young people and directly tell them why young Guamanians who are voting for the first time, why they should consider you as their senator.
Oh, well, because that actually the young people need to understand that they actually have a voice. And I think the reason why the 18 to 25 is usually the demographic that's the smallest voting demographic is because they just don't believe that their vote counts. And it does. As a matter of fact, those are the people, those are the next leaders, right? That generation is a generation that's going to take over. So they need to start getting involved more now, and especially more so as to vote as to who's going to lead them, who's going to serve them, right? Who's going to get them ready and prepare that platform for them, when it's their time. So yeah, most definitely, I believe that they need to believe that their voice counts, because it does, and it's a loud voice. Together they are louder than a lot of the Manomku and a lot of our generation.
I'm going to agree with you on the fact that the young people are very, very loud.
They're very, very loud, and they just need to believe that their voice does matter, because it does, because they are the future leaders of Guam, and they need to start start getting more involved.
Now, if you don't mind if I ask, John, you're the parent of 4 young children, right?
5.
5 young children. Okay.
Yes.
How much input do your kids? And by the way, shout out to John's beautiful wife, Hope. We know her very,
very
well.
Yes. I don't know if she's watching. I'm not sure, because I kind of just left. I said, they didn't give me a site, so I'm not sure. But if you are, hi Hope.
Real quick, how much input do your 5 kids have to your campaign strategy?
Actually, believe it or not, a lot, because because I ran the last election, and the last time I ran, it was. The landscape completely changed because of COVID, right? So it was tough, and they're involved. And before I ran again, Jason, I sat down with my family first. My kids involved as well, and I told them, I said, listen, you guys went through a little bit of it the last election, and I'm planning on doing it again. How do you feel? Because if they weren't on board, I wouldn't have done it.
Right on.
So when I got the support of my wife and all 5 of my kids, especially the younger generation, like, shoot, Dad, let's go for it, right? FOKAI, right? Fokai, right?
Yep.
That attitude, right?
Well, the wife and the kids, that's your real constituency right there.
Definitely, yeah.
Good job, John. Let me go to Ian now.
Yeah, so as soon as they said go for it, I said let's do it. But but they're very involved.
All right, well done. Okay, Ian, over to you. Even though you've got such diverse experience as an educator, you're also very passionate about natural resources.
Absolutely.
And you've done work at Parks and Rec.
That is correct.
Yeah, so can you tell me what needs to be done with our public parks, our beaches, recreational facilities, and things like that? What state are we in right now, and how do you want to manage that effort?
John had mentioned earlier what ails public safety, and the same thing ails Parks and Recreation and our being able to manage our park systems. And that is that we are running on a skeleton crew. So in the mid-90s, in the government's heyday in terms of its largeness and size, there were 256 Parks and Recreation employees. Now that's down to 46. And so we see what's happening. We decided to downsize the government because we thought it was too big. And then we decided to privatize different aspects of our government, in which government's not there to make money. So the designs for these things, like the bathrooms, right? That was a small business incubator, right? So we privatized that aspect, but small business can't make any money off of that because they don't have the capacity to have everything they need to make a profit. And so when they fold, because the business is gonna fold, now DPR doesn't have the employees anymore to do this. We then may get the responsibility of the mayors, but they didn't budget for the fiscal year So whose responsibility is it now? So if we really want this to change, we need to hire back our electricians, we need to hire back our maintenance workers, we need to hire back our mason workers, our park workers. Then we can have it, because we have a beautiful place, we have a beautiful space, and we want to have our park system represent who we are as an island.
Absolutely. I remember the day the Dedido pool opened. I went up there with a former colleague of mine, Michelle Caddy, and we actually covered that. Absolutely beautiful facility. So to see it not be operable and usable by the community, including me, because I used to swim there and everything like that, man, I'm waiting for that day. But it's not that the Parks and Rec employees don't care. They're absolutely committed to the mission.
Absolutely.
There's just so few of them, as you said.
There's too few.
All right, so very well done, Ian. All right, Roy. Most experts who cover economics would agree to some extent, in their expert opinion, that we're probably heading towards a recession because of everything that's going on. We got inflation right now. If that is an inevitability, what needs to be done to get us through this? We can't avoid it at this point, but like in terms of our revenue, our ability to get through this, because you were talking about about gas prices before, the cost of living for not just your generation, but for all Guamanians. How do we get through that?
Well, I think we really need to look at the situation we're in, right? We've lacked a lot of skilled labor. We've said that, right? We've lacked a lot of hands-on activities for our younger generation to fulfill these openings. So I think if we can expand the government's employment opportunities and give people another channel to employ themselves and use skilled labor, and because I'm not questioning people's higher education, more or less, I'm just trying to make sure that people have other options. There's a lot of money to be made in sewer, plumbing, electrical, and whatnot, right? But I think we need to stop gearing towards a higher education and give other people the opportunity to explore their own beliefs. And I think if we can engineer a third pillar and focus on farming so that we don't always have to wait on Payless's imports and the ports imports. Right?
So agricultural as
agricultural,
business. Very,
yes.
very nice.
And support local, buy local.
Absolutely.
Operation.
Okay, and I appreciate the fact that you said, revenue streams in Gov Guam. Many of your contemporaries running for public office have said, we have to do better at collections. We have to. There are probably many public services that maybe are given away for free right now that we could possibly cash in on. But again, as Ian so eloquently said, that kind of thing, it takes technology systems, it takes people, it takes process and everything. So, hopefully you'll be able to see us through that.
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, we saw it during the pandemic. There was longer lines. I mean, it looked like we were lining up for Chamorro Trust over at the post office.
Yeah.
That's how crazy the lines were at the post office.
Yeah.
So I think we've lost a lot of money and revenue at the post office. So I think we need to capture and focus on enforcing those capturings.
Absolutely. I've seen too many long lines in the past 2 years during the pandemic. People I know lining up at 2 a.m. for food, when the commodities open at 8. So, all right. Very well done, Roy. All right, back to John. John, you refer to yourself as a consensus builder. All right, please qualify that statement.
Yes, well, definitely. Well, that's what I am, right? I'm when people even ask, what are you running, Republican or Democrat? I say, well, I don't really lean too far left or too far right. I'm running Democrat because growing up, that I actually thought it was my nationality. When I asked my mom, who am I? She said, well, you're part Chamorro, you're part Americano, and you're part Democrat. So I actually thought it was a nationality, right? So. But yeah, I'm a consensus builder. I get along with everybody. I believe that effective communication is listening and understanding. So whether someone's a Republican or a Democrat, if it's a great idea for everybody, then it's a great idea. And I could easily do that. The smile on the face. I mean, a lot of people get confused by my size, but I'm just a big teddy bear with a smile. So if it's good for everybody, I can definitely walk across the aisle and say, hey, let's work together and bring everybody together, because I think that's what the legislature is lacking now, is consensus builders. There's too much partying going on the left and right. What they need to do is they need to come together and come together for the people, regardless Republican or Democrat.
And correct me if I'm wrong, when you played in the NFL, you were a defensive lineman?
I actually played both. I was a running back. I wasn't a defensive lineman. My size, well, that was 80 pounds
Ooh,
ago.
I would be scared of having you come at me full force.
Yeah, that was 80 pounds ago, Jason.
Oh,
but I was actually the lead block for Bruce Mennel. I was his fullback.
Bruce Mennel,
and every
of course,
once in a while I played defensive end.
Coach of FD. All right, very well
coach,
done.
Yes.
All right, Ian, let's go over to you. You're not only a teacher of history, you're also a student of it too. I think that's very, very impressive. What will you do to preserve the story of our people, of our cultures, our culture and its legacy, while continuing to give Guamanians the opportunities to learn about who we are and pass that on to not only our children, but also to people around the world?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you very much. So there's a paradigm shift actually within the historical / archaeological world in the recordation of peoples. So it's really about empowering the youth to go out and interview as many family members as possible, right? To be able to research their history, to find their strength and their commitment to carrying on the legacy of their family line. In terms of that, so now what we are doing is I started a consulting firm actually to be able to help with this, because there is a lack of history of our own peoples. Part of it is that we are secret, we don't like to talk. The other part is nobody's actually making the effort. But now we are making that effort to get our history in the books. And so that's what we are doing. We're actually going out into the community and getting those stories.
Very impressive. Ours certainly is a story that needs to be recorded, as you said, and that's a story that definitely needs to be told. All right, very well done, Ian. All right, Roy, your final question. As we said, you've got your roots to some degree in Barrigada, but then you also went to school up north and you've spent a lot of time there. So you've got a pulse of the northern and central communities, and everybody sees you waving all over the island, right? You're already canvassing, very impressive.
Yeah.
What about those areas and the issues that are faced by the northern and central villages and everything speak to you the most?
So, the South, my last name is from the South, right? Obviously, it's from Umatic, and I'm a proud Southern boy as well. Not only from Central, and I'm also from the North. So I think it's kind of like a Game of Thrones. Every village is important to me. I think every village has its fair share of challenges.
Are you House Humatak or House Derito?
Yeah, so just like bus stops.
There you go.
So Jigo, it's the military complex. There's Camp Blas coming, right? We need to be on track with the military buildup, and also make sure that the buildup is not only happening inside the fence, but also outside the fence. I think down south we want to preserve our culture, our heritage, and most especially our diamond of the island, right? Everything down there is just so green. When you come up north or you come to the central, it's just building complex after complex, building complex, right? Traffic lights right now. So, we just got to preserve our what we have, and, ini fresi.
Absolutely. Very well said. All right, everybody. So those are 3 more outstanding, distinguished Guamanians who want to use their talents, use their time, use their skill, spend the next several months, as I said, petitioning to you and letting you know all about them. John Ananich, Ian Catling, and Roy Quinata. Hopefully, we did a really good job introducing them to you. Consider them when you go to the polls this August. It's actually the last week of August. So, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Actually, they can go today.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
today,
right.
Early voting started today. So
Thank you.
I encourage everybody to go out and
There you go.
take advantage of that opportunity. I believe it's at the West End.
It is at the West End.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
Yes.
real quick, we'd like to give each of you, I'll give you guys 5 seconds each. Tell everybody what number you are on the ballot.
Number 14. Number 14.
All right.
1-4.
All right, Ian?
1-4-14.
1 Democrat, 1 Republican, and
3.
Barry.
Triton.
All right, so we will be right back. There is more Hotspot coming up. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned.